Welcome my social media parish, and it is the 27th Sunday in Ordinary Time, and today he has another powerful message for us for our discipleship. And he knows that part of our discipleship is that we choose a walk of life, either to be a priest like me or to choose the path of marriage, and also to be single. So whatever path that you and I have chosen by the grace of God. So today, Jesus dedicates his meditation, his teaching to marriage. So our theme today is marriage, what God has joined together. That's the topic that I'd like to share with. And you may say, but Father, you're not married and you don't have a wife, you don't have a family, so how can you talk to us about marriage? Well, that's a valid point. But the point is, you and I come from families. I had a mom and dad. I saw them struggling in their relationships, struggling to bring us up and being excellent parents. And I see my siblings doing the same, and how they live their marriage journey every day. So that inspires me. And being pastor of a huge church with thousands of parishioners, I see them, how they live their married life. So I have perhaps a deeper glimpse into married life than perhaps you who are living your married life. You are in the arena. I am around the arena watching you. So let's take it at that, okay? So let's talk about marriage. Now, marriage is God's gift to us. Marriage is a journey of love to become one in mind, one in heart, one in body, one in life with each other. Is this going to be easy? It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough journey. And as every journey is long sometimes, every journey is tough sometimes, we do a lot of preparation. And that is why the church wants those couples who are getting married to do a pre-marriage preparation course to enlighten us, to tell us where problems will arise and how these problems will arise, how our response should be to those problems. So here then is marriage, which is a journey of two hearts becoming one. So when we look at God and what he's done for us, then he has made us male and female. He's made us men and women. So he has introduced sex into being male and female. He brought the male and the female together, the man and the woman together. He blessed married life, and he makes them fruitful. And not only that, he wants them to remain united with each other all the days of their lives. Now, this is the biblical view of marriage. This is the view of marriage that Jesus is showing us. And it's your choice to follow the biblical view of marriage or to follow the world's view of marriage. And we know what the world has done about the concept of marriage between man and woman. You may say, okay, Father, I'm married, or I want to get married. I have this great desire to get married. How do I grow my marriage? This is where I can help you. First and foremost, in order to grow your marriage, then share your time together. Now, this is the most expensive item on your list. Sharing time together. Because once you get married and you begin to live your married life, you begin to forget one another. And your career comes in. And once your career comes in, then you don't have time, quality time for each other. And this is where the first pitfall comes in. You take each other for granted. The very first thing to grow your marriage is to share quality time together. The second thing that you could do to help to grow your married life is to communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. It's the key to a happy married life. When you can communicate your thoughts, your feelings, then great things happen. When you can communicate and share with each other, when you bare your heart to each other, the great things happen. You can overcome problems and you can build community together and journey together and make that journey a joyful journey, a journey of hope, a journey of trust, a journey of love, a journey of togetherness. The third is talk about your changing expectations. Talk about your changing expectations. You know, expectations, the funny thing about expectations is that they keep on changing like the weather. Today's expectations may not be tomorrow. But what happens is we get stuck with yesterday's expectations trying to fulfill them today. And when you do that, you've lost each other. So in order to know the expectations of each other, what are the expectations that you have of your wife? What are the expectations that you have of your husband? For that, you need to communicate. So you see, the key is communication. The key is also spending time. If you're not spending time with each other, how can you ever know each one's expectations? And when you share these expectations with each other, then share them with patience, share them with love, share them with understanding of each other. And when you can lay out your expectations, then you know how your spouse can love you and respond to your love. The fourth, take decisions together. You know, very often we sort of assume control, and most of us are control freaks. We'd like to control everything. So we take decisions, and therefore the other person has to suffer living up to those decisions that she or he had no part in it. So if any decision has to be taken, then remember, the two shall become one. And the two of you will have to take that decision together. Don't hand over control to your spouse. You won't like it. Don't usurp that control from your spouse. You won't like it. Rather, take decisions together. So whatever decisions have to be taken, put them out on the table. Think about them, pray over them, discuss them, and then take a decision together. Why? Because you have to bear the responsibility of that decision and not blame one another. When the blaming game starts, then that's the end of your marriage. Rather, take decisions together. The fifth, be honest with each other. You know, honesty, as we say, is the best policy, because honesty brings freedom. Dishonesty brings guilt. And we'll have to suffer that guilt all the days of our life. I'm not a prophet of doom, but that's how it goes. When I'm not honest with my spouse, and my spouse finds out about that, the spouse steps away from marriage saying, I don't want to live with a dishonest spouse, a dishonest husband, a dishonest wife. I don't want to be cheated upon. So be honest. We all have mistakes, we all have limitations, all have flaws. So we have to bear with them, and we have to encourage one another to share those flaws and to get out of them and to remedy those flaws in our life. And how do we do that? It's through honesty. Be honest with each other. The sixth, respect and uphold one another in word and in deed. You know, very often to get a point against your wife, to get a point against your husband, you talk in public with your friends and say, oh, my wife is like this and my husband is like that. Never do that. Never do that. Why? Because your wife, your husband deserves your respect. You may have differences. Never ever bring it out in public. When you bring it out in public, you lose each other. And you don't want that. You want to gain each other's confidence. You want to gain each other's trust. So respect and uphold each other in word and deed. The The seventh, have patience with each other. Our emotional growth is not the same. Both of you don't grow together. One is this way, one is that way, or this way, Very rarely it is up this way. So your emotional growth takes time. Maybe you as a spouse, as a husband, you have grown a lot, but your wife is still lagging far behind. Or she has grown a lot and you are lagging far behind. So you have to have patience. Have patience with each other in your emotional growth, which is not always quite the same. So when you can have patience with each other, then in your patience, you accept each other, you're kind to each other, you're compassionate to each other, and you're waiting for each other to grow. And when you can wait, your journey becomes more wholesome, your journey together becomes more unifying. You can really give yourself to each other by having patience. And when you have patience, it will pay off ultimately. The eighth, forgive each other every day. Not once in 10 years, but forgive each other every day. A simple thing that you could do is both of you share the same bed. So before you go to bed at night, lay your hands on each other and thank the Lord for each other. And when you can thank the Lord for each other, you can also forgive each other. And when you can forgive, you'll have a great night's rest. The ninth, be there for each other when you are needed. Be there for each other when you're needed. And that is what marriage is all about. You want to share. You want to share a disappointment. You want to share a sorrow, a death, grief. You want to share joy. You want to share new thoughts, creative ideas. Be there for each other. And when you can share those thoughts, those feelings, then that tells you that you are lifelong, not only friends, not only partners, you become one in thought, word, deed, and body. So here are 9 beautiful points. I can give you another 10th one. And the 10th one is to pray together every day as a couple. When you can pray together every day as a couple, that renews your mind, renews your heart, gives you strength to continue the journey, to forgive and to share each other's heaviness, each other's burden, each other's problem, and to take it to the Lord in prayer. Praying for my wife to be kinder, to be understanding, or praying for my husband to be more with me so that we can grow together. So when you pray and pray together, I know you pray separately and she prays separately. That's good. But pray together as husband and wife. When you can pray together, sharing your desires for conversion, for change, for growth, then the Lord blesses that couple power. And when the Lord blesses that couple power, who profits? You as a couple. You grow, you deepen your love, your appreciation and kindness for each other. The third point that I'd like to share is living God's will in your marriage. Living God's will in your marriage. Now, living our own will is so difficult because we keep changing our wills. But God has an unchanging will. He has a will for you in your marriage. Now, the question is, what is God's will in marriage? What is God's will in marriage for you, for your spouse, for your marriage? Number one, that God made marriage and the family. It's not an invention by us. God made marriage and God made the family, because marriage and the family and our sexuality is a gift from God. Secondly, His will is that He wants to bless you in your marriage. He wants to bless you by being present in your marriage, being present in your journey, being present all through your life in the sacrament. That is why the church has made marriage a sacrament. Jesus Himself gave marriage the gift of marriage to the church as a sacrament. What is a sacrament? A sacrament is a sign of God's presence here and now, working powerfully in you, in particular in your married life. He is there present as He was present in Galilee, as He was present in Cana, blessing and changing that water into wine. He is there with you right now. He is present in your marriage. Thirdly, He wants you to work at your marriage. He's given you the raw materials, as it were. He's given you the basic framework. He's given you the structure. He's given you the grace. Now, both of you have to work at your married life. And that is why the Pharisees came up to Jesus and said, "But why did Moses allow divorce?" You know the answer of Jesus? Because of the hardness of your heart. Because of the hardness of your heart. What is the hardness of your heart? Pride. Unwilling to change. Unwilling to see the truth. That's the hardness of heart. And that is why Jesus said, Moses allowed divorce because of the hardness of your heart. But it was not like that from the beginning. Because God made marriage and God put man and woman together and blessed them. So therefore, living together in married life is not impossible. It is possible when you do God's will. Fourthly, you love each other as Christ loves the church. This is God's will. How did Christ love the church? Christ loved the church by laying down His life for us. Jesus has shown us the way. What is that way? He laid down Himself. So in married life, it is required of us to lay down our life. It's the same in my priesthood. I need to lay down my life and forget myself. Otherwise, I'll never be the priest that Jesus wants me to be. So this is God's will for you in your married life, to love one another as Jesus loves the church and gave us the example of that love. And the fifth part of Jesus' will, of God's will for you in your marriage, is that you be witnesses. Witnesses to that tremendous love that He wants you to share with each other. When people see you, they know that Christ is alive in your married love. And finally, He wants you to be His disciples in your married life, making Him the center of your life. When you can make Him the center and both of you can become disciples and follow Jesus, then truly He is blessing you in your married life. That's His will for you. And finally again, marriage is a journey. It's a journey of trust, a journey of forgiveness, a journey of sacrifice, a journey of service, a journey of joy. It's a journey of service because there are two sacraments, the sacrament of the priesthood and the sacrament of marriage. They are two beautiful sacraments of service, where you and I, you as married couples, I as a priest, are called to serve. You serve your wife, your husband, your family. I serve the larger Christian community. So here is a beautiful journey in marriage, to become one with each other, to become one in Christ, and to become one in God. And what God has joined together, let nothing, let no one rip apart, put asunder, tear up. May the Lord bless your married life.